Hey guys, what is going on? Dorian Court here. Reason 8 has been released, and it looks like this is a good opportunity to try to breathe some life back into my YouTube channel, because it's been on hold for like the past half year, and I really want to change that. So without further ado, here's a video on the new features of Reason 8. So this is a song that I've prepared over the afternoon, sampled some stuff, put a drum and bass beat under it, and I'll just use that to show off some of the features. So this is sort of like a main part. You can probably see I haven't done a lot in this project at all. But yeah, this is kind of like what I want to work on, but I think the snare is kind of not snappy enough. So I'll demonstrate how to use the new browser to quickly layer a couple of snares here. So let me just find the snare. It's Kong 9. So it sounds pretty alright. It's 4 snares on top of each other already. Just these ones. Link group D. But let's say you want to quickly add another one. All you gotta do is click the pad, activate the link group, and then you can head into the browser, which is located on the very left of the program, instead of in a separate window. This is something that I really like. It's quite easy to click this nice big button on the left here and to open it up and close it again, so it gets out of your way if you want to get into songwriting mode, so to speak. But if you want to quickly do some drum work, browser on the left is worth its weight in gold. You can head to the factory sound bank quickly, go to Kong patches, sounds and samples, snare drums, and then I'm just gonna, for demonstration purposes, select a random snare. Maybe let's go with this one. Drag it onto the pad, and there we go. It's playing along with the other snares. And just because it was so nice, I'm gonna do that one more time. So maybe this, because it's got a nice reverb tail. I'll just drag it out of the browser directly onto the pad. And of course, gotta activate the link groups as well, because I've only got the sequencer playing one individual note, as you can see here, just the lowest one. But here we've got all 6 pads linked together using this link group function. Okay, so there we've improved our snare using the browser, and of course the samples that come with the factory sound bank. Some mixing to be done there, but that's not for this video. So this also works with the sequencer. Let's say we want to put in a crash cymbal, but we've already got like 4 Kongs for the individual parts of our drums, and we don't want to use any of those, and we don't want to add another Kong. So let's head to cymbals and just select one that we like. That one maybe, I don't know, I don't care. And select it, hold the mouse button down, and as you can see, you can drag it directly into the sequencer. Now, if you have an audio track, you can see the audio track becomes blue, and you can drop it right onto that track. And of course, all the effects that are on that track already will be applied. This one is an impact, for example. And it doesn't have any processing. But let's say we want to create a new audio track because we want to process that differently. We can either drag it into the column where we have all the devices, or we can drag it between 2 audio tracks or 2 sequencer tracks, and it will create a new one. And of course, the horizontal position determines where exactly the sample will be dropped. So I'll just put that on the first beat. And there we go. There's our audio track. Of course, it's picking up my microphone here. There's our audio track with the crash cymbal. Let's just put that on solo, play that back. And then we can maybe normalize that and turn down the volume. And there we have a crappy sounding crash cymbal, because obviously this is not the kind of crash that you would want in a track like this, but it works for demonstration purposes. So let me just delete that track. So yeah, we've talked about the browser and how it can be used to work with audio files. Now let's try working with some rec extensions and patches. So here's an antidote that sounds like shit, and it's just a really cheesy trance arp, which I don't like anymore at all. And I'll see that I replace the patches, or the patch of this particular antidote. So I'll head to rack extensions, and let's maybe try to stick with the antidote because it's a synth I really like. So that is from Synapse, and maybe let's select any other Synapse Antidote patch here. I don't know. I don't know these by heart. So the way you do this is you can just drag the patch itself onto the device in the sequencer, play it back. And this is a bit of a bad demonstration here because it's a very quiet pad sound apparently. But let's try another patch here, the 4-pole RH. And immediately the patch itself changes, but the signal chain stays the same. So if I were to have any distortion or anything after this patch, I could just head back to the patch browser here and drag another patch onto this sequencer track here, and of course the screen for the distortion stays intact. So you can very easily from the browser select patches and also replace patches. You can just head to the browser, keep dragging stuff around, and you don't have to go to the rack, click the browse patch button, and then this window comes up, which can at some times or at some points in the production process be very distracting. Okay, it's still pretty cheesy. So yeah, now with the new sequencer, as you can see, there's a lot of UI changes as well. We've got the loop markers on the right here and the song position on the left, as always. But the functionality has not really changed in any way. So you can still drag around, you can still do all the stuff that you want to do with the sequencer. It's gotten this unified look, except for the regroove mixer, which still looks like it does. So you can find that down here. Okay, apart from that, we've also got new amp models from Softube. So in order to demonstrate that, I'll just quickly go to the Dr. X instrument loops and see if we can find an electric guitar. Okay, that sounds pretty alright, and then I'll drag another loop here. And you can see what I did there. I just dragged a loop into the rack and it automatically created a Dr. Octor X loop player with that loop already preloaded. And then I thought, fuck it, I'm just gonna drop another loop in there, and it immediately allowed me to drop the loop directly onto the device, loaded it into a slot. So it's, without even talking about it, I can really feel the workflow improvements. So of course the tempo is too high, switch that down because it doesn't really matter. Okay, and there we have two different styles of guitar, or play styles of electric guitar. So I can head to the effects here, or I can use the browser. So let's go to effects and type in amp. And there we've got the good old line 6 guitar and bass amp, but there's also Softube amps. One of them's the beta and one of them's the newer version. I'm gonna assume this one is the actual released version. Okay, so here we've got the Softube amp, and immediately as you load it up, it's in the initialized patch for me because I've got that set up. That patches don't load with any presets, but as you can see, you load this device in and the browser immediately switches to the particular device patches. So I can immediately start playing this back and dragging presets onto the amp. This is the standard setting, by the way, which already sounds really, really nice. So I'm just trying out a couple of presets here. So I'm personally not much of a guitar person, so I can't comment on the quality of the amps too much, but they sound great to me. We've got kind of similar like we do with Radical Piano, if I can just load this up here. You've got different buttons that you can select your cabinets from. So we've got cabinets on the right, and then we've got amplifiers on the left. Here you can select microphone positions, and I feel like they kind of implemented the same system with the glowing lights on the amp. So we've got twang, crunch, rock, lead, and bypass for the amp settings. And then there's, for the cab settings, there's bright, room, fat, tight, and also bypass. So I can't really demonstrate that by talking, so I'm just gonna play some guitar back here and see how these different amps sound. So twang sounds pretty clean, crunch pretty crunchy. I mean, the descriptions are actually quite accurate. We've got an EQ section down here, kind of like every other guitar amplifier has, with bass, mid, and treble. We've got gain, and then there's also a little boost switch, which, of course, these aren't in tune right now. There's this boost switch which drastically changes the sound, and also a gate option, so you can get these really nice staccato notes. Yeah, it's not really much more apart from that. It's a great sounding guitar amp. I can also just quickly go through the rest of the presets here. Or not really presets, but settings. So this is really a present rock amp. Now this is obviously for lead guitar, so it doesn't work too well on rhythm guitars. I keep hitting the play button. This track should be in C, by the way, so we might try to transpose this. There is a global transpose somewhere here. Actually, let's try to build something here. I'm in the mood for experimentation. Then also, of course, we've got the easy automation where you can just hold the Alt button, hit the loop transpose, and that will create an automation lane. And then by standard, we've got a global transpose of -4, so that means we're already, this is in E, our track is in C, so we've got a global transpose of -4, which puts these loops in C, but of course we've got some chord switches, which means I'll have to do 3 and 5, and the 5 should be right around here. So that should now be in harmony with our tune, so let's give that a try. And maybe let's bring in some other elements. Okay, and now the only thing to change is the way it sounds, so. I gotta say, for this style of music, I think the bright setting is the best. The other ones are too heavy. Kinda like the rock setting. Maybe let's put some harsh effect on there, and something that always works really nice for some quick harsh effecting is the Faturator from, goddammit, what are they called again? Kilohertz. My apologies. So now they're stereo. Dial out the bass a bit. Maybe add some more distortion. So yeah, I've definitely been enjoying these guitar amps. And also, I just want to quickly show you the bass amp, which I'm not gonna get into that much because it doesn't really differ in principle from the guitar amp, but just so that we've covered everything here, let me show you the bass amp. Let's just go to amp and get out the bass amp. So once again, we've got a pretty simple layout here with drive control, bass control, an ultra low button, which you're gonna have to try out for yourself because unfortunately I don't have any good bass samples at hand right now. Middle and mid frequency. This is a kind of like a dial that has 5 pre-selected frequencies that you can switch between. There's a treble control and of course a basic volume. And then down up here at the top we've got the amp settings, modern, vintage and bypass, as well as different cab styles, dark, bright, room and bypass. Of course, this doesn't say much on its own. You're really gonna have to check it out for yourself, but I think it's a great quality guitar amp emulation. One thing I would like to say about the workflow improvements also is that they switched the sequencer up, so you can very easily create stuff by double-clicking, which is something that is incredibly helpful. I'm somebody who has gotten used to working with Reason in a way that my left hand is always at the keyboard with Q, W, E, R, T, and Y always at my fingertips, because they control, as I'm pressing them now, you can see up here it's switching between the tools, which is really, really helpful. But if you don't want to switch over to the pen tool, drag in your group, and then switch back to the arrow tool to drag it around, you can now simply double-click in the sequencer and it will create a new empty group. You can double-click that empty group to get into edit mode or MIDI edit mode, into the piano roll, whatever you want to call it. And then in there you can also just double-click to create a note, which is really, really cool. It wasn't a feature of Reason up until now. So instead of having to, go to the pen tool, drag the note in, go back to the arrow, and then keep copying it and keep copying it, you can simply set your value of the note that you want to put in, and conveniently it's the same as the snap level is. So I've now set that to 1/8, so it's going to create 1/8 notes. And of course we are not in E but in C, so you can quickly create some simple arpeggio patterns by simply double-clicking. So yeah, that's quite nice as well. And you can also, if I quickly undo that, go back in here, you can also now drag notes from their beginning handle instead of just having a length handle in the or at the end. And then if you head to Window, if that's something that you were wondering, the tool window is still its separate window over here, but all these devices that you could drag from the tool window into the rack have now been implemented within the browser. So we've got instrument and effects and utilities categories. You can simply go and drag your desired instrument directly from the browser to the sequencer or the rack respectively. Of course, you can also still detach those windows. So now I've got the rack in a different window, can make that short and put it in another program, on another screen, I'm sorry. And yeah, that's pretty much Reason 8. So there you go, that is the new face of Reason. Many of the changes are very subtle, but after working with it for a while, I really, really don't want to go back. After working with it for about a week, I really, really appreciate the browser being over here on the left, being able to drag samples directly into the sequencer, directly onto Kong pads. I mean, it literally is as simple and as quick as drag in a Kong, factory sound bank, go to your patches or samples folder, and of course, have the rack flipped around. And there you have all the drums, just drag him in like this, and then just let it go, You can always exchange them later. But I feel like they really improved the creative writing process in this version, which I'm a big fan of. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and I am really hoping to see you guys in a couple of videos that I've got planned. Let's just hope I get the energy and the time to actually go through with them. But hopefully I'll see you guys next time.